Okay, this is part 4 of installing a TD-125 Mark 1 or 2 into a fresh plinth. In this case, it's still a stock plinth, but you may be watching this in order to be installing it in a custom vinyl Nirvana plinth. So I've got the 4 screws very handy here. I've got my different sets of screwdrivers. The ones that are going to be crucial here are this small one and then this large blade, straight blade one also. So I've got this supported on the 3 cans that have been padded, and I'm going to carefully take the guts of the turntable and reinstall that. Again, being very careful of that green circuit board. I usually set the back side on the blocks first, and then I grasp the front and try to lower that into place without being too jarring about it. Something's definitely catching here. Okay, so we're in place. Obviously the screws are not in place now, but the turntable's in place. The cable is through the hole and in a safe place. Now again, this is loose, so you're going to want to constantly keep a hand on that back side so that it's not falling out. I'm using the cans again as a support. And I'm going to check my camera angle here, see if you guys can be seeing what I'm seeing. Not too bad. So this is the trickiest part of the whole installation. I'm obviously cheating here because the turntable is going back into the same place. But I use this thin bladed screwdriver and I stick it through here, and it should be able to go in quite a ways and see whether the hole is lined up. And I'm doing this to all the holes. See this bottom, oh, that's lined up. And this one's lined up. Now the chances are you're not going to find that to be the case. So again, this bar up here, if you loosen this screw, and it's got 40 years of tightness to it here, folks, so you're going to sometimes have to really torque on it. So give that 2 or 3 turns, not loosening all the way. Give this 2 or 3 turns, not loosening all the way. And now this whole mechanism, moves up and down. So you have to kind of do a job of peeking in the hole and seeing exactly how this lines up with this screwdriver. And you can feel it getting closer or further. And basically I use this big screwdriver, and it's this, hopefully you can see this, it's this plate here that's actually doing the moving. So it's not this, but it's this plate here behind this that does the moving, and that's got the screw holes in it. So you're basically using the screwdriver to move this up or down or sideways to get this lined up to where it needs to go. I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not going to make my job harder for you, but basically that's how it goes. And then you get at least one of these top screws in. And then it's the same basic thing down here. So if your holes don't line up in the bottom, you're loosening this screw. Oh, I should go back and tighten these right now, because you don't want to forget this permanently. So tighten and tighten, and you can go give it a little bit of a torque at the end of it. So now we're loosening these 2 if we needed to do an adjustment. It's even harder on this one to see exactly what's being adjusted, but if you move this with the screwdriver up or down or sideways, generally the plate that's under there is going to go with it. And again, this is lined up, and we're tightening. I kind of automatically always go kitty corner as I go to do these. So I go to the opposite corner to put the next screw in, tighten it, and then down here same thing. And you might want to go back over all 4 screws Notice I've got that hand on the top of this the whole time, folks. Only when I'm not applying any force am I taking that off. Don't forget that you need to reattach your cable clamp at some point. You might have to do a pilot hole. You might have to use a different screw. But basically you're definitely going to want to have some pressure on this cable so it's not just going to be pulling from above. That would not be healthy. And again, your turntable may or may not have had a cable clamp on the tone arm cable. And if it did, you would reattach that over here, just for the sake of showing that I loosened this earlier. I'm just going to tighten it right now. And that's basically it. Reinstall the bottom, and your turntable is ready to go. Don't forget to retighten these on the bottom also. If you if your turntable is vintage, it hasn't been worked on a while, it might be a good time to just take a vacuum and vacuum out gently the bottom side here, remove accumulated dust and cobwebs, etc. But then you can put the bottom back on, and you basically have mounted your turntable into its new plinth, into its new home. I hope this was helpful and that you are successful when you attempt it.